Hi guys, thank you so much for coming back. I can't speak tonight. I'm so sorry that I'm doing this video so late, but I had a busy weekend. I am filming at night, so it's not quite as bright, a little bit different, whatever. Just got out of the shower, my hair's a mess, so whatever. I am doing this video for a channel called Dan and Jen Nevada. They did a video called Keeping It Real, the Dan and Jen Way, Half-Assed Expenses, their RV channel, full-time RV channel, and they did a video about, May was Take a Bite Out of Lyme month, about Lyme disease, and I have unfortunately a family history of Lyme disease, and she said that she didn't have anybody to tag to do it, so I said that I would do it. It might be, June the 2nd now, but at least I'm getting it out, right? My mom has had Lyme disease, and my son Ben has had Lyme disease. I don't have any limes, unfortunately, to eat. You're supposed to eat a lime. I don't have a lime, but I got a margarita. My mom had Lyme disease. She's had it twice. She had it once when we lived in the city, and she was feeling kind of down, and she had a tick bite, and she went to the doctor, and they tested her for Lyme, and she had Lyme disease. So they gave her a bunch of antibiotics. She was on antibiotics for like 3 months, and she got rid of it that easy. She was just tired. The second time she got it, we had moved out here to our farm. We were doing a lot of work on the farm because when we first moved here, it was a peanut farm before. And so we had a lot of clearing to do and a lot of stuff to do and to get ready to build a house and all of those things. And so she had gotten several tick bites. So she just started feeling really tired. Well, it hit her like a ton of bricks that time. She was just always tired and always just really blah and didn't know what was going on. She was having lots of fevers and just achy and, attributed it to old age, things like that. And then she went to the doctor and they were like, well, you've had Lyme disease before. Let's just test you. And so they tested her for Lyme disease, and she did come back positive again. Back at that time, it took about 3 weeks, 2 to 3 weeks to get the test back. So she went ahead and took antibiotics and felt better, as in like 50% better, almost immediately. But it did take a good 6 months of antibiotics for her to get rid of it that time. She has not gotten it back since then, but she's been really careful about not getting tick bites. So, my son Ben, I don't even know if I've ever had him on my channel. Ben is 19. He still lives at home. He lives in a travel trailer behind the house. He is on the autism scale. He does have Asperger's. He does have a very high functioning Asperger's. So really the most attributable notice to Ben is he's very loud. He has no filter. He has sorry. He has an aversion to water. Oh God. To take him swimming is like a cat. Just no way, not happening. Take a shower, oh my God, you have to bribe him with food or to go somewhere or whatever. He loves, he gets fixated on things, stuff like that. Hates the rain, will not come out of his house in the rain. Absolutely just does not happen. Forget it. But other than that, he's really good. And he has no pain receptors. I mean, pain to him is nothing. So 2 years ago, and about this time 2 years ago, he had went to a friend's house, which is unusual. He doesn't normally, get out. And, he had went to a friend's house, and he stayed a couple nights, and they had went out four-wheeling and stuff, and he had gotten a tick bite right under his arm, but he didn't know it. He didn't, the tick was still there. We didn't know it. It didn't bother him. He didn't, whatever. And Ben at that time was living with us in the house, and he stayed in his room most of the time watching Harry Potter and things like that. And so, we brought him his dinner, we'd seen him. He was just really tired and thought he was coming down with the flu. But then his arm swelled up like massively. It was good this big around. And it got really like super red, and then it started with rings like a spider bite, like a black widow spider bite does. Or not a black widow, but like a wolf spider, where it necrotics the tissue. And so we thought he had gotten bit by a spider. So we took him to the doctor, and they were like, and he had turned red, like beet red from his chest up. And we were like, wow, that is so weird. So we took him to the doctor, and they were like, did you give him aspirin? And we were like, no. And they thought he had Raynaud's disease, or Rice syndrome. It's something like that. Anyway, it's where some people can have an adverse effect to aspirin when they have a fever. So they thought maybe he had done that, but they also dug out his arm thinking that he had gotten bit by a spider. But as they were digging out his arm, and Ben was just fine, he was just looking at it. And as they were digging out his arm, they found the tick. And so like, well, we're going to send the tick off, and we're going to go ahead and take samples of his blood and see if he has Rocky Mountain spotted tick fever, which they didn't think he had, because it was just really weird, the symptoms that he was having and stuff. And so he was super tired. We brought him home, put him in bed, they gave him antibiotics for his arm. And so he kind of passed out, and, we wrote it out for a day or two. Well, he turned beet red from his head to his toes. And it was like this splotchy, nasty mess. And it was the weirdest red I've ever seen in my life. I didn't think skin could look like that. And so we took him back to the doctor, and they put him on some major antibiotics for the tick fever, Rocky Mountain spotted tick fever, or Lyme disease, whatever you want to call it. He had Lyme disease, and so he had to be on antibiotics for 6 months, and it kind of like scarred out and ate a chunk out of his arm. And it was so weird because he had no pain with it. And he had, he was just regular old Ben, And so anyway, that he did wind up getting rid of his Rocky Mountain spotted tick fever, even though we were really late to the game with it, and it was really, really bad. We didn't know if we were going to have to put him in the hospital or not, because his fever was running 104, 105 degrees for like 2 weeks. And normally, I do have a degree in nursing, and I was an RN till I was disabled. And so they were like, well, we feel comfortable, letting you take him home, watch him, that kind of thing. So that's what we did. And so, it all turned out good in the end, but it was really, really rough. We spent that summer really battling Lyme disease, and it was terrible. So, please make sure you check your dogs, check your kids, check yourself. Unfortunately, the only real remedy to keep from getting ticks is DEET, because of, pesticides and insecticides and things like that, there's really becoming a built-up tolerance for these ticks to those kind of things. And so really the only way to not get it is by protecting yourself. Long pants, socks over your pants, cuffs. I mean, you look like a total dork, but you don't die. So, you know, that's all I can say, guys. Margarita? Oh, I needed that. So anyway, thank you, Dan and Jen, for doing that video. You guys have a huge following, more than, you know, 100 times more than mine. But I figured that I would share our family story of it and how we deal with it. And that's about it. So guys, I will be doing Loot Crate and Loot Fright next. So I hope to see you. I will see you guys later. Bye.